Marauders podcast, coming at you back again with another bonus episode. This one is just pretty much long overdue. We got another classic rap report card review for you. This time we are doing, for episode 4, the Marshall Mathers LP. This one is Eminem's third official album, which was released on May 23rd, 2000, and has the distinction of being one of the most controversial rap albums of all time and one of the best-selling rap albums of all time, too, within its first week. The reason why this is one of the most controversial rap albums of all time, it's basically because of its use of homophobic slurs, violent content against women, misogyny, also addressing the then Columbine high school shooting that happened here in Colorado way back in 1999. Some more known facts about the album. This hit #1 on the Billboard 200 and his first of 3 Diamond albums, the other 2 being The Eminem Show and the 8 Mile soundtrack. And it has one, like I said, one of the best and fastest selling rap albums of all time, with 1.78 million copies sold in the first week. And to put that into perspective, that was sold twice as much as Snoop Dogg's debut album, Doggy Style, way back in '93, and was over 8 times platinum by the end of the 2000. So that is incredible numbers, especially considering that we're living in the downloadable streaming platform era. Excuse me, and those numbers just seem just criminally insane. And so far as of when this was originally supposed to be out way back in October, it has sold over 12 million copies worldwide. Again, Diamond album, very hard to do, especially in, like I said, the streaming era. Like I said, with everybody's just streaming everything and no physical copies are being brought out to stores anymore. So it really is a tough feat to do, especially now looking back at it some 25 plus years later. So, congratulations to him for doing that. And without further ado, let's just go ahead. Let's just jump right into my review of the Marshall Mathers LP. Here it is, track by track. And also, before I begin, I do want to point out that I may have to slap a trigger warning on this because, like I said at the beginning, there's going to be uses of homophobic slurs. I will do my absolute best to try to get away from saying that. If I do on this episode of the review, I do apologize to anyone that is or will be offended by such language. It is not language that we use here on the show by me, Jared, Kyle, or anyone else. Plus, I also do not want to lose this show over something stupid or some people complaining about it. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's deep dive right into the Marshall Mathers LP. All right, so the first track off the album is Public Service Announcement 2000, a real quick skit to resemble, the first album intro and how Eminem pretty much does not give a fuck about what you think about it. Pretty much tells you to suck it and how he'll kill you, which pretty much leads into the very next track, Kill You, which is the opening track off this album too. And while listening to this for the first time, to the entire album for the first time, I should say, in quite some time, I'm very surprised that I still remember some of the opening lines to this lyrics some 25 plus years later. When I was just a little baby boy, my mama used to tell me these crazy things. She used to tell me my daddy was an evil man. He used to tell me he hated me. Then I got a little bit older, then I realized she was the crazy one. But there was nothing I could do to say or try to change it because that's just the way she was. I still cannot believe that I still remember that. And no less than 30 seconds into the song, M immediately just starts bashing women. And not only that, he's even going after his own mom too, no less than a minute into the song as well. He also talks about how he, went triple platinum and how tragedy has happened in two states at the time, the aforementioned Columbine, Colorado high school shooting. And also there was another shooting that happened way back in 1998, and that was a middle school shooting that happened in Westside, Arkansas. Um, Man, also part of the chorus that did not age well was him saying, he'll kill women, but they're nothing but sluts to him. But in his defense, I'm not condoning what he said. I'm not condoning what he said at all. I do think he was wrong for what he said. But I will also say that I have heard a lot worse misogyny from other rappers, especially during this time and post the Marshall Mathers LP. I did get a little bit of the chuckle out of him using bars in the third verse by saying, and the way things seems, I shouldn't have to pay these shrinks these 80 G's a week to say the same things twice or whatever. I hate these things. I do love the wordplay in that. Like I was saying, it doesn't really talk about how good his alphabet wordplay was, especially with him, using the letter V and like I said, the vowel wordplay in the third verse. Say these things, lay these screams, pay these shrinks, 80 G's a week, same things twice. Hate these things, outweigh these drinks, rating stinks. So that is it's very creative and very cool to have and see Eminem just pretty much doing something like that for fans, and especially since that does go over some people's heads as well too. He also ends the song with saying, he's just playing ladies. He knows he loves him. A very strikingly familiar outro used in the next album, The Eminem Show, right at the end of White America. And he also does it again with So Much Better off Marshall Mathers LP2. And then he also did it again off Kill Shot, which is his diss track against MGK. After that second song, we get into probably one of the best songs off the album, which is Stan. With that, this features English singer Dido. As we all know, or if you don't know, the song is about an obsessive fan who keeps getting more and more angry about writing to Eminem and not getting a response from him. In my personal opinion, I feel like this is Eminem's greatest song, with how he had the pencil writing effects in the song and how the song translates as well. I do love the sound effects that does play within the song too. Like I said, the pencil scratching and writing, and the rain falling in the background. All of it is just incredible, and just with him making the word "stand" into the dictionary as a crazed, obsessed fan. It doesn't really get any better than that. Name another song that you can think of that can pretty much have some kind of slang in the dictionary, especially in 2026. But getting into it, the first verse is Eminem as Stan writing a letter to Eminem, hoping to respond. Second verse is him just getting more and more agitated about him not responding, and how he can relate to him. And how him and his younger brother, they sat out in the cold for him for 4 hours, and how he pretty much at the time just dissed him, and just saying how him and Eminem should be together, and just keeps on writing, and how they can both relate to one another. And then the third verse is where things just kind of escalate higher and higher. This is the verse where Stan snaps and puts his pregnant girlfriend in the trunk of a car, and starts recording a message to Eminem before driving them both off a bridge and dying on impact when they both hit, I guess you could say, a lake or a river or whatever it was. The final verse is M just pretty much writing back to Stan, saying, he has been busy. Him asking about his pregnant girlfriend, and even giving Stan's younger brother an autographed starter cap. More on that a little bit later. He then goes on to tell him, hey, it's all entertainment. It's all, just him just getting his anger, his frustration out. Don't take it so seriously. Also telling him, to treat his girlfriend a little bit better. And some people seem to forget, that the video to this was, told just perfectly and I love just how it just really meshed together with the song. And Eminem's storytelling was just an A+ on this track too. And also, with everything that Eminem was recapping during the fourth and final verse, that leads him to discovering with everything that he heard in a news report that with all that was going on, that happened to Stan, the person who died, and him just saying like, "Damn, like I can't believe like he really did that." And before I get on to the next track or skit, I should say, since that's what it is, some people do forget that M did do a sequel to the song off Marshall Mathers LP2 called Bad Guy. I won't give too much away to what happens on said track, but give it a listen, and it'll really surprise you on what he does on that track too. So then after that, we move on to another skit, which is Paul. Not too much to talk about except M's manager, Paul Rosenberg, just being over it when it comes to some of the material and some of the subject matter that has happened on this album. And it's pretty much, again, another follow-up to the last album where he tells M, to tone it down on the content because he doesn't want to deal with any legal troubles from people, label, and things like that, too. So then after that, we go on to do Who Knew, which is the fifth track off the album. The track is basically calling out everyone is pretty much calling everyone out on people doing these ridiculous acts. While listening to it, I definitely do recognize an interpolation that Kendrick Lamar used on his song Average Joe from way back when. With Kendrick saying, I don't do live music. With Eminem, I'm sorry, he's saying, I don't do black music. I don't do white music. And then, Kendrick using that same interpolation, I'd make everyday life music, and to which M was saying, I make fight music for high school kids. So, I thought that was a very cool thing that, Kendrick Lamar paid homage to when he did that song. I do kind of like the bar, you probably think I'm in your tape deck now, bars that he had. And him just saying, he's hiding in your back seat, ready, covering down, ready to, duct tape you in the face. And with that line that he had, I definitely thought that was very slick and from M doing that. Anyway, there's a lot of smart ass humor on this track with him saying, how many people want him to watch this mouth, and then with him responding by saying telling him to turn his fucking eyeballs around. And the chorus is him just saying, like, it's not his fault with all these kids doing all these acts of violence. Don't put this shit on him. I have nothing to do with this. So, that's what I got from the chorus of that. Second verse is M just addressing all the other things that has happened in the past and wonder why he's pretty much just getting blamed for everything that has happened. Ignorant shit verses that happen No, ignorant shit raps that happen in the third verse. For those that don't know why I call it ignorant shit raps, go back and listen to Jay-Z's ignorant shit off his American Gangster album. And in the chorus is him just going, "This is that ignorant shit you like," and then just dropping, all these four-letter words throughout the song. So, um, with that being said, also going back, I do like the Christopher Reeves and Sonny Bono bars he had, and then him just telling the listener, how the fuck was he supposed to know with everything that's going on? He should be getting the blame for that, man. I definitely do think that was probably one of the best uh, tracks off this album so far, 5 songs in. Then after that, we go into another skit with Steve Berman, who pretty, I don't know if he is or was the president of sales and marketing at Interscope's Record, which was Eminem's label at the time, who wants M to start making more commercial records, or better known as going pop. Since, according to him, the label is getting tired of dealing with his, lyrical content, for being violent, for being, misogynistic and things like that too. And, he's just tired of dealing with the backlash, especially over this album and the last album. So, as an answer to this, M creates the next song, which is the way I am. And this was the second single off the album. It's a very darker sounding song, which sounds like M wrote to push back on everyone who was wanting him to make a radio friendly hit. I do remember at this time when I first listened to it way back. I believe it was my 8th grade year, and that was like 2001. So a year after the album dropped, I was just, I didn't really like the song at the time, but then the more I started listening and the more I started, hearing M's rhymes, that's when me as a fan started going, oh, okay. It started to, grow on me. And that's when I started to become a fan of this song. And with that, with this song, I do notice there are a lot of, alliterations in this song too. For those that don't know, alliterations, words that start with one letter and just completely go on for like 3 or 4 words at a time. As an example, in the song, most meanest MC, and then you also have blurt, this berserk, and bizarre, all going in this song too. And he pretty much just wants to say he wants to be a regular person when he's out in the streets eating, and not to approach him when he's with his daughter. The second verse is him just addressing the media again about how kids are becoming violent and misogynistic and homophobic back then, and how he calmly just shoots up that middle finger and turns things back around, and how they also blamed well, not then, but also at the time, I should say, people were blaming shock rocker Marilyn Manson for the Columbine shooting as well. With that being said, with everything that was going on, real quick, shock rocker Marilyn Manson, he was also getting blamed for the Columbine shootings as well too, because I think from what I remember reading, the shooters they were big Marilyn Manson fans as well, or something like that. And that's when people also were blaming him for what was going on at the time. And I do also remember while researching this album, I did find a link. I did find a video. If I can find it, I'll post it in the show notes, about how he was being interviewed, and one of the interviewers were asking, like, what would you have said to the shooters at the time? What would you have told them about what was going on? And I do remember him saying, like, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have just listened, because that's what it seems like these kids just needed, just for somebody to listen to them. So I do applaud him for that answer in for doing that interview at that time. But I'm getting off subject. Let's get back into the way I am. I did notice in the verse about how how he says when the dude's getting bullied, they shoots up the school and they blame it on Maryland, and it kind of sounds like bully sounds a little like bullet. And also another thing about Marilyn Manson is that he also did perform the song with M a couple times whenever M went on tour to promote this album. So I definitely do think that was cool for them to do, especially since like I said, both of them were getting blamed for everything that was going on at the time. Me personally, like I said, I didn't really care for the song when it first came out, but I do remember being the third verse being one of the verses that I do remember remembering the most off of this album, and with him just saying, I'm so sick and tired of being admired that I was just die and get fired and drop from my label and stop with the fables because I'm not going to be able to top what my name is. And again, I'm still surprised that I still know that lyric by heart. Also, with that being said, he's essentially saying that with all that he's doing, he hasn't been able to enjoy time off or to enjoy his success with people, always running up to him, asking him for autographs, pictures, and things like that too. And, it's just the way he is, and that's the way it's going to be for him. So with that being said, we go on to the next track, which is pretty much his answer for okay, you want me to make a pop hit? Here you go. And that being, The Real Slim Shady, which was the first single off this album. And I do remember at the time this being a huge hit on MTV, and even their countdown show at the time, Total Request Live, better known as TRL, in the year 2000. And the video was so huge and so and was just getting played so much on the channel that in the year 2000, it even won, Best Video of the Year at that year's Video Music Awards, and even had an episode of Making the Video where they showed you how to make how they made the entire video, and then at the end they world premiered the video. And that's one of the things I do miss about MTV doing. I do remember BET doing that as well with Access Granted. But I also do remember that BET at the time was just pretty much taking everything that MTV was doing and just, pretty much giving it a new coat of paint and just saying, oh, okay, well, they're doing this. Oh, well, here's our version of it right here with, Access Granted. And they did do that with a couple other shows, but that's another subject for another day. But I do remember Making the Video, and they did it with a couple of artists as well at the time too, from Britney Spears, Jay-Z, Destiny's Child, Metallica, and a couple other bands too. But getting back to the song, this was definitely a fun little time capsule to look back on all the pop culture references that he was dropping, all those years back, with shock host Tom Green, and the shots taken at the boy bands at the time from 98 Degrees, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and even the pop songstresses too, from Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Jessica Simpson, and all those too. And so I definitely did think that was a fun little time capsule to go back and look up on. After that, we hit the halfway mark with track 9, Remember Me. This features RBX and Sticky Fingers from Onyx. With this track, not too much to talk about. Just, them rapping over a dark beat produced by Dre and Eminem, pretty much just reintroducing himself and his alter ego Slim Shady after the last album dropped just the year before in 1999. I do like Eminem's opening line. You know, when I go out, I'm gonna go out shooting. I don't mean when I die. I mean when I go out to the club, stupid. And I did like how he paid homage to Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick with the nod when he says 6 minutes, Slim Shady, you're on. And I definitely do like that he paid homage to those. And pretty much the end of the song is just him just screaming, "Remember me, remember me, remember me!" Pretty much at the top of his lungs, and that was pretty much a good segue to launch into the next song. Um, I'm back. And I definitely do like the beat, and I do feel like this is an underappreciated beat from Dr. Dre. And I do like how pretty much how simplistic the beat is, and it felt like with Eminem on this, M's just M's rhymes are just effortless on this. I did notice on this that I love how Eminem used the line, "I used to give a fuck, now I could give a fuck less. What do I think of success? It sucks." And with that, I do like how Jay Z used that in his song "Success" again off the American Gangster album. If you haven't gone to listen to that, I suggest you do. I do like one of the bars that he said, the middle finger, the upside down middle finger, and him turning that motherfucker up right now too. I did like that, but you know, real simplistic beat. Do love how effortless Eminem's flow is on this. Another good song from him. Then we launch into Marshall Mathers, which is pretty much the title track, if you want to call it, off the album. Um, I do feel like the song is like a glance into Eminem, giving the fans a look at the man behind the Slim Shady persona and or alter ego, and him just saying that he's pretty much just a regular guy like everyone else without the controversy. He's still doubling down on his hatred for Pop X at the time. And speaking of Pop X at the time, he does another interpolation of the pop song Summer Girls, which I didn't know, which was from a short lived pop group by the group's name of LFO. And, with him just going, new kids on the block suck a lot of boy and girl groups make me sick, and I can't wait till I catch all you in public. I'ma love it. So, with that being said, I do like how he used that, and then when you hear the chorus of said pop song, you'll just be like, "Oh, okay, I kind of see where this is coming from, and what he did to use that." He also talks about his beef with another Detroit rap group by the name of the Insane Clown Posse. For those who don't know, there are two members, Shaggy 2 Dope and Violet J, who paint their faces with clown makeup. And they pretty much wrote a diss about how Eminem was going pop and how they didn't like it, and they called that Slim Anus, I believe it was called. And so then with them writing that, this was Eminem's response to both of them by saying, how he likes that they claim Detroit, but then goes on to say, well, "Oh, you just live 20 miles away." And after doing some research about it, about where they originally were from, it seems like the group had first met in Oak Park, Michigan, wherever that is. I'm not too familiar with Detroit, never been to Detroit, so I have no clue where that is or how close that is from there. But he also talks about how he used to chase, how him and I guess people used to chase them out of clubs and shoot paintballs at them, which definitely does remind me of 8 Mile. That scene where all of them are just riding around, and then Eminem just pulls out the paintball gun and just shoots at a cop car. Plus, with that being said, in the second verse, the at the beginning of the verse, him just saying, you little groupie bitch, get off me, go fuck Puffy," has aged horribly, knowing that what we know now with him. He also talks about his mom and the defamation lawsuit that she filed against him from the first album by saying the line, 99% of my life I was lied to. I just found out my mom does more dope than I do. And, calling out her attorney, which does get blanked out in the on the album. And so after looking up and doing some research about it, the blanked out line was, it doesn't matter. Your attorney, Fred Gibson's, bundle of sticks, or, the homophobic slur. And even, like I said, having that blanked out on the album. And with that, I mean, it's still a very solid song from Eminem off of this album. Still great. Yeah, I can't even talk. Still a great song. And with that, we go into another skit called King Kniff. This was one of the down moments that I hated off this album, and it's pretty much just a man giving another man oral sex. I didn't need to hear it when I first heard it way back in 2001. Still don't want to hear it in 2026. So with that being said, let's just keep it moving. We go on to Drug Ballad, which is another song from Eminem. Again, not too much to talk about with him discussing his love for drugs, and that has seemed to age like spoiled milk, because now that Eminem has gotten clean, he's gotten sober for like the past I want to say 13 plus years. I know it's over a decade, so we'll just say that. So with him just saying, listen to all these things that he loved, it has aged horribly in his discography. So again, not too much to talk about there. Then we go on to Amityville. I do like the beat that M was given on this track. Again, not too much to say about this either, except it does feature Bizarre from D12. And both men just, gelling with one another, and with them just rapping back and forth. And also, in case people forget, the track is based on the title of a village in Long Island, New York, with its supposedly haunted house that inspired the movie The Amityville Horror, which was released back in, I want to say, the 70s. Don't ask me what the exact year was, because I cannot tell you for the life of me right now. So then we go on to Bitch Please 2, which features Nate Dogg on the hook, X to the Z Exhibit, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. And this pretty much was a sequel to Snoop's song off of his 99 album, No Limit Top Dog, back when Snoop was a part of the No Limit label, especially after Death Row had folded at that time. And so, Snoop needed somewhere to go. Master P and the label welcomed him with open arms. And just recently, with the versus battle they had with No Limit versus Cash Money, it seems like everything's all good between the two. There's no bad blood between them. So that definitely is a plus for me. With this track, it does feel weird to hear a Snoop Dogg song be featured on an Eminem album. So for me personally, I don't know if this was a last minute addition to try to really push this album, to have people run out and get it, and to have more units sold, or it was something to have fans excited about with the lineup, due to all of them just touring together on the Up in Smoke tour back in 2000, not only to promote this album, but Slim Shady LP and Dre's Chronic album at the time, which featured Snoop Dogg, which featured Eminem at the time, the late great Nate Dogg as well too. And so you can definitely tell that they were definitely trying to get people to get out there and buy this, as you can see, and just have people saying like, oh, okay, like if you love what we did on the tour, then you're probably gonna like me. You're probably gonna like all of us on this track as well too. So I definitely do think that that was put on this album for that. But a good produced track from Dre. It like I said again, it just felt a little out of place, but it is what it is. Then we get to the most controversial song on this album, that being Kim. If you do not know, or if you have not heard about this song from Eminem's lengthy discography or in his catalog, brace yourselves, because this is going to be a mouthful to talk about. Pause. It pretty much just starts off with both parents just admiring and loving their daughter Haley, and then after that, things just completely just go off the rails, and Eminem just loses it, no pun intended, by saying and screaming at the mother of his daughter by saying, sit down, bitch, you move again, I'll beat the shit out of you. And that's when things just completely just snap. And the first verse is him just screaming at her and confronting her on cheating, since he does say the line in the first verse, how could you just leave me and love him out the blue, and how could you just let him sleep in our bed? And then just forcing her into his car by saying that they're going for a ride, and him just pretty much hinting that two are going to be leaving, but one is going to be coming back. There will be a surprise a little bit later on in the song, and I'll get to that in a bit. So the second verse, is him just pretty much verbally confronting Kim while driving. And while thinking and listening to this, he did say on this track, that was years ago, Kim, I was only 18, and then him saying, I thought we wiped this, the slate clean. That could be a little remembrance to him in his song Yellow Brick Road, where he was with another girl just to get his his now baby mama, his now mother of his daughter, Kim, jealous. Another part of the verse that I did notice where I had to look up was, something with him saying, there's a, blanked out line, there's a blanked little boy laying or something like that. And while looking it up, I was trying to figure out what it was. And that censored line was, there's a 4-year-old little boy laying dead with a slit throat in your living room. While trying to discover why that was censored, I couldn't find any answer. I just know that maybe it was blacked out because of, with all the school violence going on at the time, they just felt the need that it wasn't a good idea to have that on the album at the time, and probably, still not a good way to have it on the album by 2026 standards. But anyway, the third verse is just him losing it again, no pun intended, with him just screaming how much he hates her, and him just dragging Kim out the car. And she knows that, the end is near for her, and tries to plead her case on M not trying to kill her, but it pretty much falls on deaf ears. And with M just verbally carrying out his plan, about how he wants to try to do, a double homicide and suicide with no note. And then while discussing that, this is when Kim, tries to break free and runs off into the woods or whatever secluded area that they're in at the time. she tries to run away. He catches up to her and, pretty much just mocks her and her screaming for help, for somebody to, try to save her, but nobody really does. And then after he catches her, probably one of the most dark and disturbing things you'll hear is, a lot of choking and coughing, and M just, screaming at the top of his lungs, bleed, bitch, bleed. And, he does that, I think, 3 times before she, passes away from, her dying. And it's just a pretty chilling, it's just a pretty chilling song if you've never heard it. And it really does. It's really one of those things that kind of sticks with you for a long time too. So then after you hear the chorus for the final song, all you hear is just him dragging her body, presumably from wherever she was. My guess is the woods, into the trunk of his car, with cars just, passing by. And then all you hear is the trunk just close. And for me, like, I just had a few notes when I first heard this song, especially back then. My first reaction was, "What the fuck did I just listen to?" Number two, who at the label thought that this was okay to put on a rap album, and why would they okay it? And the third part is, and which is what people pretty much don't know now, or some seem to forget, is that this is actually a prequel, going back to the very first album, to the song 97 Bonnie and Clyde off of the last album, the Slim Shady LP. So with that, it's just one of those songs that kind of, stick, like I said, sticks with you. And it really makes you go like, man, what the hell did I just listen to? And, who approved of this? And, excuse me. And what the hell? And just, man, it's still, very dark. It's very disturbing. It's very graphic. And another side note too is that with this song, with how dark, how, disturbing and graphic, and how everything is, on the pretty much clean version of this album, Eminem decides to do a South Park like song version to replace this track called "The Kids." If you haven't listened to that, just go get a glimpse of that. It is definitely South Park inspired, and it was a nice little thing to do to make up for how disturbing that song is. We hit the penultimate song with "Under the Influence," which features D12, Eminem's group at the time. Rest in peace, Proof. And this one kind of serves as a precursor to their debut album, Devil's Night, I think, which comes out either later on in 2000 or the very next year in 2001. I do like, and I did chuckle a little bit when Bizarre had the line, "I'm on an acid trip. My DJ's in a coma for letting the record skip, letting the record skip, letting the record skip." And I thought that was a good way to try to fuck with the audience and listener, making them think that, that's what's really going on too. I did have to, feel some kind of shame for myself, because I did laugh a little when Bizarre said, some woman asked for his autograph. He called her a whore, spit beer in her face, and laughed. Yes, I'm a bad person for laughing at that. Yes, I know I'm probably going to hell for laughing at that. And, I there is some shame in me for, laughing at that line too. But, you can't help how you feel. And, I do apologize for, laughing at something that dark and misogynistic. After that, we go on to the final song on the album, Criminal. And the song begins with him addressing people thinking that he's really doing all the things that he says he's doing on his record, by saying that he doesn't. But if he were to, he would most likely come after the critics who actually would think so. So after the bridge of the song, I mean, the homophobia in this and homophobic slurs just come just shooting out like a machine gun throughout the first verse. He also goes on to address the critics in the chorus by saying it shouldn't be a crime to tell people what's on his mind. Um, he also goes on to address his mom's drug use again in the beginning of the second verse and tests the water with people and the listeners, by saying, I drink more liquor to fuck you up quicker than you want to fuck me up for saying the word. And then we pretty much can fill out the blank on what he wanted to say, but didn't. He also talks about Bill Clinton and his misfortunes while in office at the time, and even saying that he, kidnaps Dr. Dre in the song before we get into this little skit or interlude, whatever you want to call it, about him trying to, rob a bank with one of Dr. Dre's friends at the time, or they still could be friends. I really don't know, but with this skit, it has M going in to rob a bank and then shooting the teller. What a lot of people don't know about this little skit is that there's a follow-up on the second track of the Marshall Mathers LP2. And it also does remind me of the movie California, which is this 1993 movie which stars Brad Pitt, pretty much doing the same thing, but instead of robbing a bank, they're robbing a gas station clerk. And in the last verse, he's pretty much just saying, with half this shit, I just make it up to make you mad. So kiss my white naked ass. And, just going on saying, hey, it shouldn't be a crime for me to tell you what's on my mind. And I did notice with him just kind of yelling criminal. Maybe this is just a reach, but it does remind me of Q-Tip saying the word criminal in the track Scenario, with him just saying, stay away from crime because I ain't no criminal. So it does remind me a little bit of that too. Just like, I'll go back with the review to also give some more notes about some of the things that I may have missed. But those were one of the things that I did notice as well too. And with that being said, that is the end of the Marshall Mathers LP. So my final grade for Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP is an A-. I know I have been critical of Eminem in the past about how some of his music does not last, how it doesn't age well. But surprisingly, most of the tracks on here have aged pretty well. Some of the cons that I've had on this album, I mean, obviously, the violence against women, the homophobic slurs, him just coming after that, and those are pretty much my cons from the albums. But the pros definitely do outweigh the cons. Some of the pros that I did like how the Real Slim Shady had. How it had this fun little look back into everything that was going on at the time. Another thing I forgot to mention about that was the iconic 2000 Video Music Award performance with him, standing outside the army of Eminems from the video outside of Radio City Music Hall, and all of them just going into the building, and him just rapping word for word, bar for bar. With everyone just filing in, especially coming down the aisles. I thought that was so cool back then, and it still remains like one of the best performances in Video Music Award history at that time. With Stan, an absolute masterpiece. Again, I still think it's one of his greatest song of all time. Another thing I forgot to mention about that too is that just the very next year, when he was nominated for a Grammy Awards, there were protests outside for the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, or the group GLAAD, and they were, picketing and protesting outside. I think it was the Staples Centers at the time where they were doing the Grammys, and then so to shut up the critics, this is when Eminem decides to perform the track "Stand" with Sir Elton John, to which it got a standing ovation from the audience. And I just remember trying so hard to see that live on TV, but since I think that performance happened so late at night, I just remember just being told to go to bed. I had school in the morning, so I never really got a chance to see that performance live. And so that was a little bit of a letdown for me too. More pros with that too. I do like I'm Back. I do love the past references that he has and the nods that he's given to some of our past rappers that have had pretty much inspired him, I guess you could say, to become a rapper as well. Other than that, I mean, this really does hold a lot of weight. It still has aged pretty well. If I had to pick a worse song, I definitely would have to say Drug Ballad, due to, M's drug use at the time, and how he's now sober, and how, he pretty much kind of steers away from, the drug use and the lifestyle now. Knowing what we know of him now, and how he's a grandpa, and how he's steering his kids off into the right path, and it kind of feels like he has some kind of regret with doing that too. But that's what he was, and that's what he was doing at the time. So I mean, I can't really be mad at that, but at the same time, it's good that he acknowledged it, and glad that he put that drug habit behind him, and with him being sober. So I definitely do like that as well. Other than that, I do believe that is it. That is it for this edition of Classic Rap Report Card Review. Let me know what you think. Was I fair with this rating? Was I not fair? Should have been higher? Should the grade have been lower? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know whether it be in the comments here on Spotify if you're listening, the comments over on YouTube, which we will upload after this, I think in like a week or so. Plus also, don't be afraid to drop comment down below which classic rap report card review you want me to do next. Again, all we ask is just make sure that the album is 10 years old from when it first released, and make sure that it's available on streaming platforms. So with that being said, with the next album we're gonna do, you know what, let's take a trip down to the ATL. With that being said, I really want to see how this rapper's music has aged since now that he's off doing movies, now that he's off just doing his own thing right now. And I really just want to take a look back at one of his best-selling albums to see if it still holds weight, or if it didn't. So next time on the Classic Rap Report Card Reviews, I'm going to go back and take a look at Ludacris's Word of Mouth. That's his best-selling album. I believe that came out just a couple years after, the Eminem, after Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP had dropped. So it's going to be pretty much a fun little look back to see how this has aged. With that being said, let us know what you think of the episode in the comments below. If you're following us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever, give us a review to get the word out. Give us a review, like the video if you're watching over on YouTube. And with that being said, that is it for us here on the on this bonus episode of the Low and Mirage podcast. We are going to have another episode coming out real soon too. First episode of 2026. So stay tuned for that. We do have some more designs coming for clothes over on the shop. The link will be down below if you do want to get yourself like a hoodie or a t-shirt or whatever you feel. But with that being said, I believe that is it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying patient with us here on the show. As always, like, subscribe again. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time for another bonus episode and another episode of the Lower Marauders podcast. Thank you for listening. We are out of here. Peace.